Okay, this is a video about why I'm here in the Philippines. I've been coming to the Philippines since 2005, 2005, when I worked in the Middle East in Iraq and Afghanistan. And back in December of 2012, I was in Dubai getting operated on. I had two hernia operations. And then I returned back to the Philippines where I was living. I had a house there. And it got where they operated on it got infected. I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. Person I was living with pretty much would not help me, not change the bandages, not go to store and buy Pandacel or noodles or whatever. I was no longer working. Her sisters came and they took care of me for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, till I could walk again. And the house I had, the person I had it with, we sold it for a major loss. I ended up getting 10,000 out of it, and she got 10,000. We split it, went our separate ways. I went to Manila. She stayed in Butuan and then went to Augustin del Sur to live with her family, I guess, for a while. I think now she's in Cebu. Anyway, that was a real hard time in my life. I fled to the city, Manila. I ended up taking that $10,000, and within 6 months' time, it was gone. I was broke, drunk. I was drinking every night. I was a mess, total mess. I pretty much lost everything. Lost my high paying job, my money. You get paid pretty good working in combat zones. They give you hazardous pay, combat pay, all that stuff. I lost it all when I lost my job. I got hurt. And essentially, they said I was not qualified to work again. I tried working for another contractor and I did not pass the risk assessment uh, medical. They said I would be dead within 10 years. Well, that was back in what, 2013, so I'm still alive, so I guess they were wrong. Anyway, life goes on, right? So after my drunkenness and everything, uh, back in, what was it, I think 2014? Yeah, around 2014, after getting drugged from Manila, I pretty much, my money was gone, everything. I was starting to shrink away, skinny, and not good shape now. I was falling apart. Somebody from America who was in the special forces helped me out a lot. They set up a GoFundMe to send me back to the United States. Even got me a used truck, everything. They were great to me. Well, I go back to the States, and I ended up living in a double wide trailer, an old beat up trailer. It was $600 a month. And I was working at a call center because I could no longer crawl in the attics working on air conditioning. So I became at a call center, a research technical support specialist. I took mostly the hard to do air conditioning calls so they could fix the units without having to buy brand new units all the time. That was pretty much my job, and that was so stressful. I was living in a double wide trailer, had a car payment at that time, and it was rough. Bills, everything. I was pretty much living off of Roman noodles, and I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day to get by. And they decided they're going to cut me overtime 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and I could no longer afford to pay my bills. And that's when I started thinking, man, this is not a good life. And at the call center, I worked there for 5 years, every single day. They always threatened to fire me if I didn't keep up with the amount of calls I should be getting and everything else. And it was stressful. And then when they cut my overtime out, I was not able to pay my bills. It was terrible. I had a 401k with that company. And after the house that I was living in, a double wide trailer, was robbed 8 times in a year and a half. To get $600 a month, I had to live in the worst part of town. I lived in Anderson, South Carolina at the time. Crack infested area, sabu, meth, heroin, whatever. I was the only one in the whole neighborhood that was working. Everybody else was drug addicts. And there's support with robbing people's houses, stealing everything they had. I had a gun safe with guns I used to shoot ski and long range rifle shooting competition. They stole everything I had, everything I owned, even the safe. They tore the wall down to take it. They busted the door out from the frame. Windows. I mean, the landlord did his best to fix things up, but never did do it correctly. It was still a mess. Even when everything was stolen and gone, the people would still break in and steal peanut butter off the shelf. Or if I had a pack of cigarettes laying around, they'd steal that. Even when there was nothing left to steal, they still break in. 8 times in a year and a half, I got tired. I was so tired, man. Uh, I was by myself most of the time, and just I kept on thinking, why am I doing this? Why? I'm so far behind in my bills, by myself all the time. I'm working crazy hours until my overtime. Once my overtime was cut, then I made plans to get out of there. I had a 401k. Um, I was going to cash that out and then move to the Philippines. I was talking to somebody online in Benguet Island in the Philippines. That's about an hour and a half boat ride from Surigao City. And that was my plan. Because when I go home in my house, the double wide trailer, they stole all my guns, but I always carried. So I had a concealed carry permit. I would carry a 380 in my pocket, a Smith& Wesson bodyguard, and I'd have a Glock 22, 40 Smith& Wesson on my side. And if I wasn't carrying one, I'd lock it up in the car or the pickup I had. And that was it. Every time I went home, I had to clear. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath trailer. So you imagine going home every time you go home, pull out the weapon, and you go from one room to the other, clearing it. It's like you're in a combat zone, but you're in America. I got so tired of doing that. Even when I took a shower, I had the gun on the counter next to the shower in case somebody decided to break in. I don't think they broke in when I was home. They waited till I went to work because they knew I still had guns. They didn't get them all. They didn't want to get shot, and I didn't want to shoot anybody. So worked out for both of us. Uh, I don't know. It was a hard life, but I had nothing there in America. I was suffering. I was struggling, eating Roman noodles by myself. And I kept on thinking, why am I here? Why am I here? And then eventually I just got tired of it. And I arranged to fly to the Philippines, to Dinagat Island. And at first, when I got there, it was okay. The person I met came to Surigao City, the airport there, and picked me up. And I stayed at that person's house for about, 10 months. My 401k I cashed out was about 10,000. I bought a scooter and some stuff for the house while I was there. And every day, man, every single day, they had their neighbors over. Everybody, I was feeding like 10 people every day. That 10,000 was gone in like 6 or 7 months. And then I was struggling for the last 3 months. And a German guy helped me. One of the boyfriends from the sister, he helped me. I moved out of there at 10 months. They threw me out because I was not going to buy him a house. And once they figured out I wasn't going to buy them a house, I had no purpose to them. So they told me I needed to leave. So the German helped me out. I got a place in town in Albert, and it was pretty cheap. I don't remember exactly how much I was paying. Like $70 a month or something. I stayed there for a while, but it was real tiny, small place. And I met somebody, and I was living okay. A real tiny place, but the people were nice to me. It was good. The relationship in Boulder, two never worked out after 10 months, so I was living by myself for a while. And then one moved in with me. Uh, but eventually they wanted to rent that out to family members, so I had to leave. And then I found a bigger place. I went there, stayed there for a couple years, and now I'm at where I'm at. I moved to here, uh, and this is bigger than that. So big is still small. Okay, the room. I don't know how big the room is. It's like 15 foot by 17 foot or something. And then they have a place closed in the back, a wet kitchen, small also. It's okay. And I got like a cabana uh, I paid to make out here. Uh, and that's where I sit out here and make the videos most of the time. I'm an outside guy. I don't like being in the house all the time. So it got to the point in the U.S. that there's no way to live a life. Always stress. You go to work, you come back, and you wonder if your doors are laying on the floor and your windows are busted out again. They were targeting me because I was the only one working, making an income when they didn't have anything. They didn't know that that they stole everything already, and I was barely surviving. So when I decided to go to the Philippines, it was a blessing because I couldn't live like that anymore. I hadn't got my pension yet. I left America when I was 61 years old. I just cashed out the 401k and left. I didn't get my pension until 62, and my pension's not real big, 1,700 or a little less. It's not a lot of money, and trying to survive in America on that, no way. And I was tired of the call center, man. Too much pressure, too much stress, and my living conditions were miserable and terrible. Tired of living in a drug-infested neighborhood where I was the only worker, and they robbed me when I go to work. So going to the Philippines was a blessing. The girl I met, oh, she treated me like a king. So she found out I wasn't going to buy her house because I already lost my one house when I was in Butuan City. After I left the Middle East, I got hurt, lost my job, ended up selling the house. I got half and she got half. And I got drunk and lost it all. So why was I going to repeat that again? No, I'm not going to buy nobody no house. So that lasted 10 months. And then the person I'm with now, we've been together for like 5 years. Nothing's ever perfect. Sometimes not so good, sometimes okay. But we're okay with each other. We've been good. She's kind of supposed to be the old people that are grumpy. Well, she's more grumpy than me, so I don't know. And jealous. I'm 67 years old, man. I'm going to be 68 in 2 months. So I don't know why she would be jealous of me. There's nobody lining up to be with an old guy like me. And I'm too old to be chasing women anyway. I just sit here, make some YouTube videos, and that's about it. And I don't know, people. So all we can do is try to go forward the best we can. Uh, that's why I left America. It was terrible for me. Granted, if you live in a higher rental place, like I would say 1,000 to 3,000 a month rental, or you own your place, you could be in a much better neighborhood. You could live a peaceful life in the U.S. But because I didn't have the income, I lived in a cheap 600 a month drug infested neighborhood. That's why my life was miserable. But if you had a bigger income, you live in a nice part of town and be very happy. Unfortunately, I didn't have the income, and that's what happened to me. Maybe poor decisions in my life. And if I was a rich guy or had more money, I'd still be in America now. But the income and my pension is just not enough. I'd be living in the woods or under a bridge in America right now. Because in America, you'd have to have a car. A motorcycle wouldn't cut it because where I was living, they had snow, and trying to drive a motorcycle in the snow is miserable. So you'd have a car payment, insurance, rental, the bills. My pension, I could not survive over there. That's why I'm in the Philippines. In the Philippines, with my pension, I got a roof over my head, food to eat, a companion, and I don't have to worry about not having anything to eat or worrying about a roof over my head and not lonely. I got a companion to live with, a grumpy one most of the time, but still, she's a good person. Guess I couldn't ask for better. And that's my story, folks. Why I came to the Philippines. I'm not a fish eater or a shrimp eater, so I pretty much survive off of meatballs and spaghetti. That you can get meatballs from the market uh, in San Jose, big San Jose. Spaghetti, pasta, chicken, Hungarian sausage, eggs, pretty much what I eat. And they like fish and squid and shrimp. I don't like any of that. But if you're from a foreign country and you like fish, this is the place to be. Except when they have the fiestas, everybody's going from one house to the next, partying and eating and going to the next and the next. It's fiesta's not a good time, really. It's a good time for the families because they all take a break. Some still work, of course, but a good portion of them are going from one fiesta to the other, especially here in Dennigan Island. Used to be the fish would be in the market all the time during the fiesta, very small amount of fish. Used to be boats out there fishing all the time. No more boats out there fishing. Uh, Even though the fiesta in East Barangay is only like 2 days, they might have rides coming for a week, and then they just go on to the next barangay. So just because they're in Albert or something, they could be going to Big San Jose or going get on the boat, go to Surigao City, and go to the fiesta there. A lot of people follow one fiesta to the other, and that means trying to buy fish is slim pickings. If you're a fish lover, because there's no boats out. I'm looking out there now. Here, I'll take a peek. You see any boats on the water? No, nothing. See that boat? That's a Chinese mining boat. So really, during the fiesta, things slow down to a crawl. After the fiesta, everything returned back to normal and things were good again. Right now, the little sorry stores and the small market and stuff, they still have stuff. They buy it from the city. They still have occasional people going out fishing, but slim pickings compared to when there's no fiesta. But a fiesta is an important part of the culture here. It only happens once a year, but And it's only 2 days and maybe a week where they have rides and stuff. Not everyone, bearing guy has rides. Some it's just 2 days and they move on to the next. But there's so many different bearing guys. This stuff can last for 5 or 6 months. It's a long process. I'm telling you that right now. I pretty much bored you all. I would appreciate if you found any of it interesting, if you would like and subscribe to the channel. And I hope everyone has a great day. And I hope I didn't bore you too much, but that's pretty much how I ended up here in the Philippines. Okay. Everyone have a great day and take care. Goodbye.